Good afternoon, boys and girls. Today is Friday and we're working on lesson 27. We're working on lesson 47. So let's look at part number 1. Touch the letters T-R-I in part number 1. Try means 3. Touch the first word in the column. That word is triangle. What word? Triangle. Touch the next word. What word? Triceps. Touch the next word. What word? Trimester. Now, touch column A in part 2. Both those sound combinations make the same sound. Everybody, what sound? Ah. You're going to say the sound for the underlined part and then read the word. Touch the first word in column B. What sound? Ah. What word? Tot. Next word. What sound? Ah. What word? Drawing. Next word. What sound? Ah. What word? Cut. Look at column C. First word. What word? Crawl. Next word. What word? Caution. Next word. What word? Sprawl. Touch the first word in part 3. What's the underlined part? What word? Differently. Next word. What's the underlined part? Shun. What word? Attention. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Rhinoceros. Next word. What's the underlined part? I. What word? Frightened. Next word. What's the underlined part? X. What word? Extinct. Next word. What's the underlined part? Lee. What word? Instinctively. Next word. What's the underlined part? Dis. What word? Disturbance. Next word. What's the underlined part? What word? Overgrown. Next word. What's the underlined part? Shun. What word? Motionless. Let's look at part 4, boys and girls. We're going to talk about what those words mean. Word number 1. What word? Foul tasting. Something that is foul tasting is bad tasting. Word number 2. What word? Programmed. Something that always follows the same steps is programmed. Word number 3. What word? Roamed. Roamed is another word for wandered. Word number 4. Keen. Keen means sharp. Touch word number 5. What word? Taut. Taut means stretched, tight. Touch word number 6. What word? Extinct. An extinct animal is one that lived at one time but that is no longer living on Earth. Let's go ahead and begin with part 5. Everybody should be following along. First word. What word? Brontosaurus. Next word. What word? Triceratops. Next word. What word? Ornithomimid. Next word. What word? Tongue. Next word. What word? Galloping. Next word. What word? Tekla. Next word. What word? Vision. Next word. What word? Muscles. Next word. What word? Designed. Next word. What word? Straight. Next word. What word? Squirmed. Next word. What word? Hippopotamus. Next word. What word? Grazing. Next word. What word? Territory. Next word. What word? Blazing. Next word. What word? Shoulders. Next word. What word? Ostrich. Next word. What word? Lizard. Next word. What word? Scrambled. Next word. What word? Predator. Next word. What word? Successful. Next word. What word? Shallow. Next word. What word? Cost. Next word. What word? Search. Next word. What word? Inhabited. Let's go ahead and continue with part 6, boys and girls. We're going to go ahead and read our story. Paying close attention. The title of the story is Triceratops Meets Ornithomimid. There were 12 Triceratops eggs buried in the sand near the cliff. The first to hatch was Tekla. She squirmed free of the egg, dug her way to the surface, and looked at her world for the first time. She felt warmth and hunger. Her mouth was filled with sand. She moved her tongue, trying to spit out the foul-tasting sand. Tekla would never know her mother. She didn't have to learn how to walk. Unlike mammals, she was programmed to walk from the moment she was born. She was also programmed to search for food and to fight. She would have no fear of most animals. Only faintly, she would realize that she was a Triceratops and not one of the other animals that roamed the plain. She would know only that she felt more comfortable around other Triceratops than she did around the other animals. Like most racing animals, she had a keen sense of smell and sharp vision. Still trying to remove the sand from her mouth, she rolled on the hot sand. It felt good on her back. She looked up at the sun, white and blazing. The sun felt good. Suddenly, however, Tekla sensed danger. Instinctively, she scrambled to her feet and faced into the wind. Danger, danger, something screamed inside her. Danger! She put her head down and stood motionless with her muscles taut and very heavy. Huge feet planted firmly in the sand. She seemed to be looking straight ahead, but grazing animals are designed differently from predators. Predators have eyes in the front of their heads so they can look straight ahead. They look straight ahead when they attack, and they must attack to survive. Grazing animals, however, have eyes that are on the sides of their heads. A grazing animal like a cow or a horse may seem to be looking only straight ahead, but its right eye can see everything on its right side. And its left eye can see everything on its left. The animal can see its own back end. The eyes are designed to protect the grazing animal from attack. It doesn't have to worry about looking straight ahead as much as it has to worry about predators attacking from behind. Run, run, something screamed inside Tekla. Instinct was telling Tekla what to do. She had never seen an ornithomimid, the predator who loved to eat dinosaur eggs. She had never smelled an ornithomimid, yet she knew instinctively what to do. She ran from the cliffs towards the other grazing animals on the plain. She could run quite fast, nearly as fast as a horse. Tekla looked like a little fat rhinoceros, her stubby legs galloping through the heat waves toward the distant line of grazing animals. She was very frightened. Her heart was pounding, but her mind had one thought: escape. And she did escape. Her brothers and sisters were not as lucky. The ornithomimid sniffed around in the sand. That sand was once a beach, and the cliff had been on the edge of the beach. Then the great brontosaurus lived on earth. Tekla's plain was a large yellow body of water, and it was inhabited by thousands of brontosaurus. By the time Tekla was born, the great brontosaurus had been extinct for more than 60 million years. The water had dried up, and all that remained were the cliffs, the great sand beach, the bones of some brontosaurus buried deep under the sand, and the shells of sea animals that once inhabited the plain. The ornithomimid looked something like an overgrown ostrich with a long lizard tail and sharp teeth. It wasn't usually successful at finding eggs in the sand because they were often buried quite deep, but the disturbance that Tekla caused caught the attention of the ornithomimid. Quickly, it ran over the spot where the pieces of Tekla's shell remained on the sand. The ornithomimid sniffed the shell and then began to dig in the sand. So after we're done watching this video, make sure you complete lesson 47. Boys and girls, have a great weekend.